In this video I'm going to show you how to make the new crossover bag using our fabulous Gemini dies. So these are the dies that you're going to be getting, and you're also getting full written and pictorial instructions too. So you're getting quite a few pages here on how to go through making this bag. Now in this video I've gone through every single step for you, so hopefully you'll be able to follow the instructions and be able to make this beautiful bag that you see before you now. So have fun! So the first thing you need to do is obviously cut your fabric to size ready for your die. Fold in half. You can cut at least those 4 layers easily and place your die. And I would take this down as well. When it comes to the gusset die and the bag, the zip panel dies, this is how you would do it. So place the cutting line right at the top there, and see the little tabs right at the bottom? That's where you start folding. Now I put tape down just to hold everything in place. You may or may not find that useful. I certainly do. And do you see you're just folding on that last little tab line there, and just underneath it's sort of lined up with the tabs at the top as well. You can just see that on the edges of the fabric. So there we are. So that's all folded. Put it at a slight angle, run it through the machine. Tape it down again just to hold everything in place, just to be safe and secure. And you're going to repeat that with the zip panels. So there are all my pieces cut. There's my zip panels and my main bag pieces. So you're cutting 2 of each of those, and there's the gusset. It tells you all of this in the instructions. And just below there's 2 2-inch squares ready for the tabs. There's the lining pieces as well, 2 main pieces, 1 gusset, 2 zip panels ready to start stitching. So with the little zip pulls at the end, all you're going to do is fold those over 1/4 inch each side. You'll see me doing this now. And then the 2 raw edges that you've got left on your left and right get folded into the middle, and you'll see that in just a second. So fold that first one into the middle, place your zip over the top, fold that other end into the middle and place the whole lot over the top, and that gives you a lovely neat finish to the end of your zip. Put a clip on there just to hold. But you're going to run that under the machine and stitch all the way around, making a lovely, neat job. Little back stitch to hold. You can see I've done the other end. So this is just the second one that's now being done. And your machine will easily cope going through all of those layers and over the zip as well. If you stitch it nice and closely to the edge, you'll make a lovely, neat job. Just the last little bit now. Little back stitch, and we're done. So now we're putting the zip panels down either side. So clip that in place, make a little sandwich. So right side of the zip is facing up, the right side of your main fabric is facing down, and your lining fabric you just place underneath, so your zip is sandwiched between those layers, making a really nice, neat job. And then if you change your machine foot to a zipper foot, you're just going to stitch all the way along using your zipper foot now to make a nice, neat finish. You can pin this if you wish. So you're just literally going to stitch from left to right using your zipper foot. At this point we're just getting everything lined up. So there we are, that's all done. So it just needs a quick iron. This is really quite important, this bit. Get all the fabric out of the way, away from the zip pull, and then everything lies beautifully neat. And again, always iron from the reverse as well. And you could also top stitch at this point. So if you want to top stitch on the front of your zip to make that really nice and neat and professional looking, then go ahead and top stitch. And that's just an optional. So where we've just done one side, you're going to repeat that again for the other side. So right side down on the right side of your zip, and your lining tucked underneath to make a sandwich. And then you're just going to stitch along there just as you did before with your zipper foot. So there we are, both sides done. So we're just going to peel that top layer back, pop the bottom layer underneath, and again give it a good iron. This is a really good time to get that really beautifully flat and neat. Make sure your lining is well out of the way. Give it a good press. And there we are. That's our zip installed into the zip panels. You're just going to make sure that lining stays out of the way. That's why top stitching is a good idea. Find the middle of the top of your bag. So the curved part is the top of your bag. I like to mark it with a heat erasable pen. And then you're going to be doing the same for your zip with the zip panels. Find the middle, give it a mark. Do the same for the other side. It's easier once you've stitched this all in place to have the sides, both sides marked. So now you're doing right sides together, so lining up your marked pieces, and put a clip or a pin in there just to hold it straight. And you know then that the middle is perfectly accurate. And then just work your way around. Because that's a curve, it won't necessarily want to go, but you can pull it into place with your clips or your pins and tack it if you prefer. Just hold that until you're ready to stitch. Do the same the other side. And it's not too deep a curve that it's as difficult at all. There we are. So now you're going to stitch from left to right again, about 1/4 inch, and you're going to do that on both sides. Once you've done one, you're going to do the other in exactly the same way. And that has installed your zip panel that is at the top of the bag. So there we are. That's both sides done. So you can see how that's going to look. Both are beautifully stitched. You can see how that looks from the front. So the next thing to do is to get your gusset. And you need to find the point of where you place this gusset. And I would say it's 1/4 inch over the actual stitch line of your zip panel and your main bag. So you can see it's about 1/4 inch over that seam line. And you're going to take it all the way around up to the other side. You can see it's too long, and you'll need to trim that to fit, and that's fine. It's better than too short. So you're going to start 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch away from your seam, your edge. And just at that corner there, look, I'm going to snip. And that allows me to turn my fabric beautifully to get a lovely, lovely crisp corner. And you'll need to sort of work on that to get that right, but just that little clip in there with the scissors will allow that to turn. And I would do a reinforcing stitch there, and then you're just going to carry along all the way around, do the same for the other corner until you come to the top, which is where we're at now. So again, go right up to that seam that's joining the zip panel to your main bag piece. Take it out of your machine, and this is where you need to trim your gusset to fit. So again, where that seam is, it wants to be 1/4 inch longer than that. So where that was, fold it back and leave 1/4 inch extra, and that'll allow you to stitch the top of the gusset to your zip panel a little bit later. So there we are, that's 1/4 inch away, and that can be discarded, you don't need that bit. So you're going to now stitch the other side to your gusset. This is the ideal time now to put your strap in. So if you've made some straps, and I've made my straps from the gusset die, so then it's nice and big, is to put the ends of your bag handles in the ends of the zip panel. Do you see there's a little gap there? Because we haven't stitched that yet. So you can pop your bag handle into that space, and you could stitch this down. Before you do the lining, you could top stitch this down just to secure all your layers. So you're securing the zip panel piece, the bag handle and the gusset as well. I'd be tempted to top stitch that just to hold it all together before you put the lining in. So you can see I've popped my handle in, I'll just bring it back, pop my clip in there just to hold all those layers together. You can see how beautiful that fits together, and like I say, you can top stitch. So now we need to put our lining into our bag, and there's a couple of ways. So the first way is to put wrong sides together. So we're putting our wrong side of our lining. Don't forget, leave your gap. Keep your zip open as well. And pop the wrong side of your bag inside that lining. Now at this point you can machine top stitch this all together, or you can just hand stitch this all together, and you'll see in a sec how that looks. So bring that zip panel down, make it flat. Fold the top of your lining over, and you can either hand stitch that close, which looks really super neat, or you could top stitch that on the machine. This way we've got wrong sides facing out, and we're going to machine top stitch this together. So I'm putting right sides together on there. So right side of my zip panel, the lining part, and the right side of my lining. And what you do there is pop the main bag inside the lining, which will give you the perfect fit. You can see. So now I've stitched all of those pieces together, so the outside main bag and the lining together as well, and across the gussets, incorporating my bag handles as well. We're going to turn through, so obviously I've left my gap here. It's about, I would say, leave at least 5 inches because you don't want to be struggling, and there's a lot of bag to put through, and depending on what wadding you use, whether you use foam or a nice soft wadding or a stiffener, you know, you want to be able to get this bag through easily. So this is the moment of truth when we hope that everything is fine. And if we've followed the instructions, we know it's going to be. So poke those corners out, make sure that where the gusset has gone all the way around, you've got some nice corners there, so you can see the nice corners there. And then we've got the zip at the top there. Can you see that's all encased in the top as well? And then we've got the zip too. The handle is all in there as well. Make sure it's not twisted. It needs a really good press. So I'm going to go away, give it a press, and we'll see what it looks like in a couple of minutes. So now I've given the bag a really good press. I've got some filling in there as well. You can see what it looks like when it's padded out, and I've put the strap on so you can see how that looks as well. So if I turn it around, this is how it's going to look. It's got a nice flat bottom as well with that lovely wide gusset. So there we are. That is the finished bag.